Yo, live on location. This is a big one for us. Me and the blackest one. We staying our ass at home here in Orlando, and we live on location from Vegas. We live on location. Them AT&T 5G towers keep us connected. We got the young legend, South Carolina's own, putting the state on her back. Asia Wilson in the building. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes, y'all tune in with the young legend.
5G. Thank you for coming. You my teammate All-Star Weekend. We can talk about how Q them cheated us and
Took that L. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely cheated.
Brought to you by AT&T 5G.
When you made it to the WNBA, who's the first person to bust your ass?
Ooh, the first person to bust my ass in the league. I have to say Elena Deladon. And yeah, I think that was the biggest one. I mean, I play in such a hard position where I got like Brianna Stewart, I got EDD, Candace Parker. So like every night I got my ass bust. Every night I had to mentally prepare about like, okay, what am I headed into? But yeah, I think EDD really, she served me a couple buckets to where like sometimes you just be hooping, you be like, okay, that was a good one. She got me a couple of times. I was like, all right, that was a good one. That was smooth. So I had to say,
we all face it. We all get them nights.
Yeah.
Hey, when them ones when you think to yourself like, oh yeah, that's when you know something is going on right now.
And you watch film and you like, I know what she gonna do. Then she does something. I'm like, all right, that was the one. That was the one. She caught me slipping.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
It's nothing in Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh wait, hold up.
She is totally appalled right now. Like, what?
I went down there one time for a preseason game. I was playing with the Bobcats, and it wasn't no street lights. I didn't know if they were setting us up or what was going on. And then all of a sudden, you just see lights, and then it's a stadium. It's like, oh, okay, that's where everybody at. I didn't even know where everybody lived at. It was just like the town, and then it was woods.
Correct him and let him know what's going on in Columbia, South Carolina, because he is disrespecting it right now.
I'm not gonna let you disrespect my place like that. Like, we got us a couple buildings here and there. We got a little downtown area. We are a football school, so like the stadium, that's where everybody at. Everybody come around. But we've recently kind of turned into a basketball school, which I'm so happy. But don't try to do us. We got good food.
Oh no, I'm not doing y'all because I love the fans. Like the fans that came out that preseason game, it was like it felt like I was just playing at home. Like I was back in high school. It just the vibe of it was just real dope. But Heathwood Hall, you started as an 8th grader. You played varsity as an 8th grader.
Yeah. It was actually crazy because I actually wanted to go on varsity as a 7th grader, but it was in a rule book that you can't make the team unless you're an 8th grader. So I played on this like JV team as a 7th grader, and we didn't have no playoffs. We didn't have nothing. It was literally like you played X amount of games and then your season was over. And I'm like, what is this? Like, what am I working towards? And then 8th grade came along and I'm like, all right, I got to make varsity. Like, this is my main thing. And I did. So, yeah, that's where it all started, honestly, was 8th grade year.
I've never heard of an 8th grader being able to start on varsity, let alone 7th grade. I'm like, wait, hey, that's crazy. So everything, so your school obviously went from like 1st grade all the way to 10th, 12th grade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were a private school, so it was 1st grade to 12th grade, and I literally was at Heathwood from the 1st grade all the way to the 12th grade.
Wow!
So I stayed there my whole entire life. My parents, it was crazy. Like, I can't even put into words. Like, my parents, they were trying to get me to go to public school, and I was like, nah, I think I'm good here. Like, I think I'm really good here. Mind you, now Heathwood was maybe a place where it was about like maybe less than 20% Black people. So I'm like, it was a different environment for me. But at the same time, it allowed me, when I played club basketball, that's where I was more in the, people that looked like me. Like, I saw my friends, honestly, my friends. But like being at Heathwood, I know my parents got so much backlash because it was like, how you see your child there? There's no competition. She around all the way. And I'm like, no, like it just felt like home for me. Like I honestly felt so great at that school. then I'm like, I don't mind being here for 12 years of my life. Like it was definitely worth it.
Do you feel going to that school, like as far as like you said, when you play with your club team, you was with your friends, but being in that type of environment, do you feel like that gave you a like an advanced edge as far as school and being in touch with all of the different cultures and things you were exposed to?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, and I got called names out of all the books by my friends. Oh, you're an Oreo, you're a black girl that wants to be white, this, that, and the third. So it kind of built my confidence. And I'm not gonna let y'all talk to me like that just because I go to a school where it's not a lot of me. But it definitely helped me out because I mean, in middle school, you had to go on camping trips in order to graduate. So like it just was a whole different world. To me, I'm like, I gotta know how to pitch a tent. What is this? Like, this ain't me. I'm like, I'm the woods, it's not me, Mother Nature, we don't get along. But then later on, as I grew up, I'm like, you know what? Like, if anything were to happen to me, I wouldn't know how to survive because in 6th grade, I had to do this to get through.
Yeah.
And like in senior year, for us to graduate, we'd have to do a thesis. And it was like 30 pages long. And then once I got to college and here I am, I'm like, oh, this ain't nothing.
Yeah.
I already did this. I had to do this in high school just to get out.
Yeah.
So like I got a different perspective on a lot of things. And yeah, people call me all names. Yeah, whatever. They're gonna call you names regardless. But it definitely helped me out in the long run. And I thank my parents because sometimes I'm like, I wonder how my life would be if I went to public school, and I got a lot of backlash. But at the end of the day, like I'm pretty sure I've learned so much different things, and that I'm like, we went to chapel every Wednesday. It was like we wore uniforms, so everything was like boom, boom, boom. And like once I got to college, that's how it was. It was like you go study hall, you go here. So like my life was already like in an order
Program
that helped me. Yeah, like it wasn't like I was a robot, but I understood. Okay, this is what it's gonna take. Yeah. Like it was like, okay, this is the shit that I gotta do. Cool.
Yeah, I've been telling my kids that when you be in the house, you got a structure. You got to go to bed at a certain time. You can't have me up all night. No, stuff and time about getting up in the morning. But yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying. Like, did your high school have a history, like any type of history of basketball that you like, or the history kind of started with you? Because I'm looking at your stats. You 35 and 15. Like who?
And 5 get them up out of here.
Who's coming before you? Because like with us like Q. I went to high school because I knew the history of my high school. I knew like the players and championships. I knew all this, so I went there before the history. But you created the history there.
Yeah, it was nuts. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it like that at the time. Like once I got to high school, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be a normal, regular student, just around. It wasn't like they looked at me as anything different. But yeah, high school, we had one other girl. Her name was Brianna Dickerson. She was, I think, the only player that left that went to play, and she went to play at South Carolina as well.
Okay.
And that was it. Like that was all you heard from Heathwood's basketball. But then when I came along, I was just playing. Like it was just like I'm just out here to have a good time, like get my blood flowing, just hooping, because I love it. And that's honestly where it came from. And we didn't win our state championship until like my senior year, because we were just always getting knocked out in the semifinals. And I'm like, what is going on? And like I would get so mad because I'm like, people be like, oh, that's an easy league. And I'm like, if it was easy, I would have 4 state titles.
I'd be winning them, Joe.
Like I don't. So it was tough, but yeah, at the end of the day, when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, like, there's different things that go on in your life that you don't really realize until you get a moment where you're like, dang, you look back on it, you're like, okay, I could have started something there. Like it was pretty cool.
Right.
In your school, like you get that much recognition. Like how was it your senior year, like to getting all the national attention from everybody and everywhere? Because your school ain't used to getting that type of attention.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Like, at what point did that start where everybody went and started seeing you? Because you don't just go from player. You play at Gatorade, Parade, McDonald's, everything. Player
the whole
of the year.
South Carolina.
So like, at what point did that turn for you? Like, was it sophomore, freshman? Like what year was that when everybody said, "Oh man, she's a big deal"?
Yeah, I would have to say it was maybe my junior year. That's when college coaches would kind of talk to my high school coach and be like, hey, we want to come see your workout. We want to come visit campus. We want to see you. And at that time, they couldn't really talk to me. But my high school coach would be like, yo, like, you know, this so-and-so's here. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then that's when I hear my classmates like, yo, did you just see XYZ here? She was here to see Asia. Like, that's when it was like, okay, I go to school with Asia. And now she is like this person that everyone wants to see. And at the time, I'm like, I'm in high school. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then that's when it really hit me when I made my announcement, my signing announcement on ESPN in our gym.
Right.
And they like, it was a half day for the school. Like they had fans of my face. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is my community. And like you had people coming from the city coming in, like everybody wanted to know where was Asia going. And I think that's when it hit me. I mean, you see that on the men's side all the time. It's like, okay, where are you going? And they have the hats lined up, like, but you didn't really see that in our game. So for me to have that opportunity and to showcase a school that no one really heard of in Columbia, I just filled up with so much pride because I'm like, you know, I'm putting Heathwood on the map in a way that, you know, people would want to come here for, yes, basketball, but also to see that it's a great school. And I think that's kind of what I was like, okay, this is cool, but I don't think anybody was ready for the attention that we got, including myself, my teachers, like no one. And the thing is, my teachers did not let up. When I tell you they did not let up, I was like, dang, I'm at the sign today and we sitting here talking with a pop quiz. Like, what is going on? They're like, hey, you got to get this work done. So like, I could greatly appreciate them. But yeah, it was definitely weird because, I mean, the community wasn't used to it. Because we weren't good at football like that. We weren't good at, it wasn't like a sports school. And now all of a sudden, the whole school's on ESPN. So I'm like,
yeah, that's amazing. And then the even more so, like you said, it was because of a female. Because like you said, you see that all the time with the guy McDonald's All-Americans and whatever. Like for you to do that, to bring a school from out of nowhere on the map, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
What school was it that almost got Asia Wilson?
Oh man, the school that almost got Asia Wilson had to be North Carolina Chapel Hill. Ooh. Oh man, I love that school. Like I loved anything about it. Yeah, and then I like
colors,
the boys
everything.
Yeah, the boys was cute. I was like, oh yeah, that's the place for me. Then my mom comes in and she slaps some sense into me. She's like, you ain't going to school for no boys. I was like, all right, I guess you're right. But yeah,
good education
I just
too.
really loved it. Yeah, right. I was like, yeah, come on, man. But yeah, that was the school that I was like, you know what, I can see myself here. But then I was like, I don't really know about that one. So, and then that's when I fell in love with South Carolina.
South Carolina. Dawn Staley is one of my favorite women's basketball players ever. You know what I'm saying? She was one of the first. She was one of the first women I follow her career, watched up. I love the style, the way she played, how she was a general. Just to see her coaching is just dope. To just see Dawn Staley just still out there. What about Dawn Staley that made you choose South Carolina and made you choose her to lead you on to this new life?
Oh, I would have to say that Coach Staley has done everything that I want to do. Like she has accomplished all my goals. And I'm like, why wouldn't I go somewhere where a coach can tell me the good, the bad, the ugly about it because they've been through it. And she looks like me. Like that's just a whole different connection that a lot of people don't understand. That I'm like, you look like me. You can relate to me because, you know, you've been through it. And I think that's something that I was like, you know, I can't pass up on this opportunity. And it just so happened she was in South Carolina because I'm pretty sure if she was anywhere else, I would go to her because Coach Staley she's just like, let alone the great player that she was, the coach is, it's like on a whole different wavelength. Like I would go and talk to her about anything. She is my second mom. I always say that because she is someone that if I wasn't doing in school, if I wasn't had boy trouble, anything, I was in her office and we were just having a conversation and she was letting me have it. If I was a stupid dumbass, she'll say, you a stupid dumbass for going with that boy. So like those conversations you can't really get from somebody that ain't been through it and someone that doesn't look like you can't relate to them. So that is something that everyone's like, oh, what's she pitch you? What did she say? I'm like, she was just who she is. Like she was just real, didn't sugarcoat nothing. So I could really appreciate that.
I think it's dope for former players who have that ability to coach and lead and articulate and teach kids like yourself and the kids of the future, like Dawn Staley. You know what I'm saying? For her to be a African American woman who's done and accomplished all the things she's accomplished, and for her to be able to come back and to pour into the future, you know what I'm saying, WNBA players and just the kids, period. Somebody like you who can go to her and can completely relate and not have to be in a scenario where you at school, you away from family, and you dealing with things on your own, and you not, you know what I'm saying, you doing what a kid would do. You going to somebody, like you said, who's been through it, who's been in those positions, who's an adult, and they can legit relate to you on all the levels. You know what I'm saying? I'm not disrespecting any other coaches of, you know, that didn't play or aren't African American, because it's a lot of great coaches out there, but I'm just saying in this particular instance, she checks every box possible for you, and that speaks volumes. And just to hear you say those things, I salute Dawn even more so, just the way she can impact you. And I know she's doing the same for other players that come through those doors. So that's just a huge thing for all of the kids that's coming through her.
Yeah.
What did you learn from your first year at South Carolina that changed the next 3 years? Because the next 3 years, you player of the year, you most outstanding player, y'all win a chip. Like after that freshman year, it's like shit got real. Like it was on now.
I think I realized just who I was. I think I finally believed in who I am as a player, but also as a person. And I think I got to give it back to Coach Staley, because she saw that potential in me that I probably never would have even thought of if she didn't call me out on it. And like, it would just be different things. And it's funny because Coach Staley would kick me out of practice because she would say I'm being average. And I'll be like, I ain't no average player. Like, you ain't about to talk that talk to me. And she'll like, go stand over there with the walk-ons. Like, you done, get out. And I'm like, she's not calling me average. And like, that's when she was like, you should never blend. Like, I see you blending in. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, what you mean? I'm just doing what you're asking me to do. She said, no, you should never blend in with your teammates. And like, that's when it hit me like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. And I don't mean that in a cocky way, but like, I'm a good player. Like she's right. I shouldn't be average. And I think that's just something that I took to heart. And I was like, if she ever called me average again, I'm going to show her that I'm not. And then I think I'm like, she knew exactly what she was doing. She getting the best out of me. Like, she pushed that button. But that's like, that was our relationship. Like, she knew that she could get under my skin by just saying the smallest things. And I'm like, I can get under your skin as well. But it was just that had to be the moment where I'm like, all right, you're not about to call me average. Like, you're not about to kick me. And she would, like, people, the assistant coach would be like, come on, Dawn, like, Asia, get back in. She's like, hell no, she don't deserve to be on this court. I'm like, hold up. And like, that's how it was. I'm like, okay, bet. I'm gonna show her why I am who I am. And I think that's really honestly what changed for me.
Tell me how it felt and how much it meant for you, because I mean, everybody knows, you know, you got your UConns and your Tennessees are the champions. Like, how did it feel for you to power and lead, you know, South Carolina, a team that had never done that before, and to bring the whole national stage to your school, and you the most outstanding player, and it's really in a time where everybody knows UConn's winning them all and all of that stuff. How did that feel to like step in there and break all it up for a minute? Like, hold on, let me just get up in here one time. Like, how that
I need me one of them.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. Oh man, it felt good. It's like a feeling that I can't even describe, because so many people weren't expecting us to do anything. Like, so many people, I got bashed. Like, why are you going there? Like, they ain't did nothing. They were bottom of the SEC at one point. And it's like, it was different. It just felt different. And I'm like, when people count you out, that's the best time to show them up. Like, that is the best time, because no one expected us. We got hit with injuries that year. Everything it just didn't seem like it was going our way. Like, they sent us out to Stockton, California. Our fans couldn't travel with us. Like, it was just a lot. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know. This is different. This is different. But Coach Taylor would always say, like, winning the championship ain't easy. It may look easy when people do it, like UConns and the Tennessees do it for so long. But we talking about my home state. Like, people knew the best time you could rob somebody's house was on Sunday, because everybody at the women's game. Like, that was it. Like, church would get out early. Everybody will be in the Colonial Life Arena. And it's like, we changed the whole state around in a positive way. So to bring back a banner and to still look at it and be like, dang, we really did that. It's a feeling that I'm like, man, this is good. No wonder, like this is how it feels.
Right.
You get the you experience college, you get the whole college experience. I ain't get a chance to go to college, so I ain't get a chance to experience the dorm rooms and all the fun stuff. But you know, you one of them people that experience the whole college experience. You're a student athlete. You're in the classroom getting your work, and you pledge. You pledge, aka to that.
Yeah, she
when
got
you
the
in the
full.
sorority, you done really did your college thing. So
Yeah,
how was
absolutely.
that? You know, that's a historic, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
platform. So like, how was that to just pledge AKA and become an AKA and be with so many just beautiful and professional Black women and be a
it
part of
was
that?
like, it was amazing. Like, it was something that I'm so happy. Like, looking back on my just college career, I'm like, that is at the top 5 of like things that I accomplished. And I'm so happy that I did, because it allowed me to not be in that student athlete bubble. Like, I feel like as athletes, we're put into this bubble to where we see everybody. We had to go to training table. You see the football players, you see you just see, it's a cycle. And like, you never got an opportunity to be on campus or in clubs or do anything with the normal kids, because you're always in a gym. Yeah, like you're always in a gym, or you're always in the classroom. Yeah, it's no different. So pledging really helped me, because like I gained 60 sisters, and it allowed me to see a different side of campus that I probably wouldn't have seen if I didn't get into it. Let alone, what AKA stands for is just a great thing to me. I just love all the community work that we put out there. Like you said, just amazing. You're surrounded by just amazing Black women that have the same mindset. Like, and it's just, I just love the feeling of it. And I was so happy. I was a little worried about telling Coach Staley. I didn't tell her until I was like the last day, because I was like, Lord, this lady's about to go crazy. And like, it was just a mess.
Why you didn't tell her? Why are you so
Because
scared to tell
crazy. Because she's crazy. I don't know what she was going to do. I don't know what she was going to do or say. So I was like, I'm going to wait this out.
Wait till you finish it up so she can't make you stop, huh? It's too late to stop me now.
I was like, I'm too far gone. So it was like the last day. And I remember that. And I had practice. And then once kind of we had our probate and everything, and I revealed myself, I just see her and my teammates up in the stands. And I'm like, it just was a moment where all my worlds collided. And I was like, wow, like this is epic. Like, I just love this feeling. And, you know, Coach Staley, that's another thing about it. She supports you in anything that you do, but you just got to kind of stay a little quiet sometimes. But like, she really supports you. She really does. Yeah. So like, that was definitely a big, big moment for me. It's just to be able to like, just see that other side. Like we, like I said, we're just always in this bubble all the time. And they just see you as just an athlete. But then once I pledged and I crossed, I was like, okay, like I feel like a student now. Even though I did it my senior year, I still felt like I was just like real well-rounded in a way. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm really happy with my decision.
Well, this is definitely the first mention of a sorority on our show. So you own. Now, I'm not saying that we don't. I'm pretty sure some of my guy guests is in fraternities and stuff, but we still never talked about it. This is the first mention of that on the show. So
you know, like our celebration that we do, the Knucklehead celebration, it started because we couldn't throw Q Dog all the way up, so we had the ball, our fist, and it changed to something, and now we here on Knuckleheads, 5G everywhere. But everybody want to be the number one pick. Everybody dream of that draft. That draft is always a special moment. This year, you know, you can't have the ladies or the gentlemen going to the draft and getting that experience. How was that experience for you to be like the number one pick of the WNBA and get a chance to walk and shake hands and get your jersey? And that's whole experience, like dope for your family.
Vegas.
Yeah,
you going to Vegas?
Driving by Vegas, like, and your family there. Like, I know that's live. How was that for you?
Oh man, it was nice. It was really cool. Like I think I remember Sue Bird saying this in an interview. Like a lot of people may not know you from what school you play or like maybe even the sport, but then once you say you're a number one draft pick, they're like, whoa. Cause like everyone's like, oh, you good. Like you know what happened. And like ever since Sue said that, I was like, that is my life. Like a lot of people may not know what team I play on or anything, but once I say, I was the number one draft pick, they're like, what? Like what? So I'm like, yeah, I guess. So it was a lot of fun. Like it allowed my parents to go to the top of the Empire State Building, which was hilarious because we just looked like a bunch of crazy people up there, but we went to like the top. So we got to view New York in a different way, maybe not like your average tourist could view it. It was just cool to just be there, let alone just get drafted. I think that was the night where it was just so much going on. My blood was flowing, and like everybody's like, "Well, what you worried about? Like, what you nervous? You already know." And I'm like, "I don't think y'all understand. Like, this is the draft. Like, you dream of this. Like, this is the draft." Like, it was just nuts. Like, I remember I couldn't sleep. My hands were sweating. I was like, "AJ, you got to get yourself together."
Oh no, you like everybody else, because I be thinking about those steps. Like, ooh, I got a big seat. I don't want to trip on the steps walking up. But
I always thought that too. I'm like everybody else looking at you like, you ain't what you sweating for. You the top pick. You easy street. Like I'm the one over here don't know whether I'm going 6'22" or 36 or anything. Like
it's different. I was shaking. I said, "Lord, if I fall, nobody gonna even think about me getting drafted. They're gonna be like, she the girl that fell." So I was like, I was just running in my mind, like, just don't trip. And then like once your name gets called, it's like my heart just like stopped. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is it. Like this is the best thing ever. Like honestly, it was, because I'm like, I'm a professional athlete now. Like I'm done with school. Bye. See y'all. I'm a professional athlete now. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. And let alone the president during the time was an AKA. She was my soror. So we went up there and threw our cookies up. So it was like pretty cool to have that moment with her as well. So
let me was
crazy.
Let me ask you this: How was it? Was it difficult or easy for you to get your outfit for draft night together?
Ooh.
Yeah, how was that? Because I know how it was for us as guys. Now for y'all as women, it's got to be even more.
Yeah, I had my maid. I actually had my maid, so I didn't have to worry about
shouty.
Yeah, like I had to like have my maid, so I was good. But then I got it made for me to just stand up only, and it was like a strip going down my back. So it was only made for me to stand up. So when I sat down, it was like it was just tearing. I was like, "Mom, I don't know if I could do this." So I started getting my shoes on.
This is the behind the scenes that you do not know.
That's what we need.
I was like calling my mom. I was like, "Mom, I need your help." I was in the bathtub trying to put my shoes on because I literally could not bend. Like I couldn't move. And my mom comes in. She's like, "How the hell are you gonna sit at somebody's table?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "I really don't know." I was like, "I really don't know." So I was late to the bus and everything, and I'm like walking, like, please don't pop nothing. I just gotta make it to my chair. So I was like leaning in the chair like this. And then when they would call my name, I'm like sitting up, and I'm like, I had a choker piece and it was like choking me. And I was like, I can't do this. I said, I'm about to faint right here at the draft table. And my mom was like, "Are you nervous?" I said, "I can't breathe. Like it's struggling." So I was actually really happy. I don't know if I could have made it past one, because I think I would have passed out. So when she called my name, I'm like, whew, time to stand up. So yeah, that was my wardrobe. That was my wardrobe struggle.
Exclusively.
that was good right there.
Your first year, you playing against the best in the world. You know what I'm saying? Your first year, you win Rookie of the Year. But, like, not only you win Rookie of the Year, you look like an all-star out there for a team that's like a expansion team, a team that's just starting this year. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of girls that kind of got shuffled on the team. You know what I'm saying? But how was that for you, like, that first year, to play against the best and see, like, oh, shit, I can hold my own against some of these girls?
It was nerve-wracking, honestly. Like, I was just so nervous of just playing every single night, because like you said, we ain't playing no SEC. This is like the best in the world. And it's just like, wow. And I was coming straight off of just the collegiate season. Like, we don't have a break, honestly. You get drafted but then a week you
right into the season.
Yeah. So I'm like, I still got to transition from the collegiate game. Like, I was just like, what is going on? And let alone, I had Bill in my ear saying, "Go ahead, lead this team." And I'm like, "What you mean lead? I don't know what I'm doing. This is my first time in this league. Like, you asking me to lead this vet?" Yeah, I'm like, I just got like this. Not like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to think about all these things, because I have to try to tell a vet what to do and then do what I need to do, but also try to defend a person who's been in the league for like 6 years. So it was so much that I had to think about, that I'm like, wow, like kind of made me forget that I was a rookie. I kind of just threw that out because I'm like, okay, I need to handle my business and I got to hold my own. So like rookie year was a lot of fun, even though we didn't make it to the playoffs and we were almost like the worst team in the league, but we grew together, which was a lot of fun as well. We grew a fan base, but it was so nerve wracking. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is it.
You play so good and now you get Cambridge. It's like, y'all like the Twin Towers. Like I had y'all to win the championship last year because I was like, shit, y'all ain't gonna stop them. And especially when y'all gave a few games up in the playoffs and then Cambridge had the interview, was like, if they can't take it, they might need to get out the kitchen. I'm like, oh yeah, they ready now. Like to have a player of her caliber that's so good to play with you, and then the role players you have, and like you had Ty Young, you had I forget this girl name every time I think about saying the name, the point guard. But y'all have all these good players around, and then the shot. I know people say when they win championships, you gotta have luck, you gotta play good, and everything gotta kind of go into play. So when I seen the lucky shot that she made after the steal, I was like, oh yeah, they won in the championship.
Yeah,
see, so laughing to keep from crying right now. That's a sore spot that you just bringing on us. She like, I'm gonna laugh,
because I was passionate about that. They was my pick last year because I was like, that's just too unstoppable to go in. When y'all went to the post more, I felt that y'all was too unstoppable. They didn't have enough fouls for y'all. So how was like last year and trying to getting that and seeing what y'all really got in the UN Cambridge being that dominant together?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I think that was my second year was the year of learning. Like I really learned a lot about myself and my teammates because we really had to adjust to adding Liz and to adding Sugar. Like we had so many different pieces then, but it was just pretty cool to just see on paper. I was like, woo, goodness, this is a nice fire team. But then like once we got together, I was like, okay, we got some nice things going. Like everything was like, we were meshing together very, very well. And we came up short. And also the basketball gods was with us. Woo, with that shot. Oh my goodness. It still plays back in my head. But like, I think that was a year of like a lot of learning happened. So this year, my third year, I was like, okay, I'm like so excited to get back on the court because I'm like, this is the time. Like, yes, okay, we build our first year. Second year, we learn. Now it's like, okay, third year, we about to get this thing going. So it was a lot of fun.
I like that talk.
Yeah, it was just a lot of fun just seeing everything come together, even though it was at the end, but you learn so much when you lose an elimination game like that. Those be the games that you like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board. So wasn't too pleased because we didn't win it all, but I was definitely pleased about the second year.
One of the things I like about your game is you're a power forward. Sometimes you play center, but you can step out with range. Like you got a jumper. Like who hold on, I'm gonna say instill because folks were saying I was too, because I said installed, like they didn't know what I was saying last interview, but I'm gonna say instill. I'm gonna correct the word. Who instilled the jumper in your game?
I would have to say my dad. My dad probably really helped me because I didn't hit a growth spurt until my freshman year in high school. So I was like a late bloomer. So my dad was like, okay, I'm working with a guard here. Like, okay, we're going to see what we can do. Because my dad's like 6'8", so he's a big dude. So he was like, okay, cool. Like, this is what I'm going to work with. So he really just kind of helped me focus on just the face-up game. Because he saw me as just a little 5'7" girl. But then once I started hitting my growth spurt, it was just something that we just continued to do in training. Like, I never let that part of my game get away from me. So I have to give all the credit to my dad because there'll be times where I'm like, oh, I really don't want to be working on this jumper. But like, that's what he would do. Like he would always say, you know, this is what you need in your game. This is how you need to handle it. So he's definitely someone that has really put that and influenced me to get that face up jumper.
So would you say the fact that he played overseas ball for 10 years professionally, like he was able to pretty much be your personal trainer growing up, telling you and showing you anything you needed as far as hoops?
Oh yeah. He was definitely the trainer in my life. Every day we'll go to Heathwood and we'll just get shots up. We'll train. He'll put a weight vest on me that I absolutely hated. We had everything. Like it was just like, I'm not dealing with this. And there'll be times where I was like, Ma, either he go or I go, because I could not stand, because I never saw him as trainer. I always saw him as dad. So I'm like, why is my dad like being so hard on me? But in his
Major
mind,
pain.
yeah, like I was like, oh no, one of us gotta go, Ma. Like it'll be times I wouldn't talk to my dad for like a week. I'm like, I'm not dealing with you. Get out the house. Like, bye. So like he really kind of helped me. He really developed me into my game. And when I tell you I was not the best, I didn't even play on my AAU team my first 2 years. And my dad was the assistant coach, and he didn't even say let my daughter play. So I'm like, dang, I must really suck. My own daddy won't let me play. So like he really kind of was like, I'm not gonna let you go out bad or sad. So come on, let's get to the gym.
That's dope.
Pretty girl wear pearls.
Yes. I'm sorry I don't have one, but yeah.
Tell us how did you fall in love with the pearls?
Yeah. Oh, my grandmother. I actually have her tatted on my wrist. Hattie Wade Rakes. She was someone that was like my listening ear through anything and everything. Like she would, and I like growing up, as a girl, it's kind of tough. My head was big. I was unproportioned. Like had whole rubber bands up with my socks. I looked a mess. Like I was a hot mess. But my grandmother was like, you gotta have confidence in yourself. You gotta be who you are. And so she gave me my first set of pearls, and she said, pretty girls wear pearls. And I'm like, oh my God, this makes me pretty. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this on. So I would wear it with anything. I would wear it with my school uniform, sweats. I would wear my pearls anytime. And like that really just that was just a motto that I always had in my head. It's like, it doesn't necessarily mean like flawless pretty girls, but just being pretty in your own way, in the inside, being a woman who carries herself very highly. And that's where it all came from. My grandmother, she passed away in 2016. I hate she couldn't see the national championship, but like I always knew she was going to be there with me. So yeah, she was my number one person. Her only game she ever saw me play was my freshman year at South Carolina. We had an exhibition game at noon. So yeah, that's the woman behind the pearls.
How did you feel about rest in peace Kobe? How did you feel about Kobe and how he supported the women's game and how he was, one of the best in the game and giving a lot of support for the women's game, and his daughter was one of the ones that was coming up. How did you feel about that?
Man, it was something that really, it touched the whole basketball world's hearts, but definitely I think the women's game as well felt it just as much as the men's side. And it's because I don't think I've seen anyone put that much energy and effort and just really love into our game until Kobe. Like Kobe was someone that was foot down, was like, this is who I'm supporting. I'm gonna rally behind them regardless. And of course, everyone, the NBA, you guys, y'all love us. Like that's the support that we need. But like Kobe, it was just different. And I think he felt it because he had his daughters. Like he felt it on that level. And we were so grateful to have him come to our game. He came to a couple of our games, like he came to our All-Star. So he was very visible. It was someone that you saw and was like, oh my God, he's here. Because that is Kobe. Like it's Kobe. Yeah. So like he really, really did so much for our game that he probably didn't even know how many people that he touched within our game, because like we hear about it, but you don't really see it like that. Like we a lot of people come out to our games, but it's like when Kobe came out, it was for the bigger picture. It wasn't just being in there to be seen or being there just to, support us. It was like bigger. And like you said, Gigi, she was up and coming. They were all up and coming, and that was like the next generation to change to hopefully, our league's already on the upward scale, but they were going to be at the top of just the change of our league. So like you said, rest in peace to them all. But it was just something that I really honestly never seen. Like he was rocking our jersey at a Lakers, our hoodie at a Lakers game. Like, wow, orange joint, like that's big time. Like you don't really see that. So like for him to go out of his way to have everyone support us, that was just huge. And he's the realest. He's still the GOAT. He's always gonna be that. And just rest in peace, honestly.
Speaking of jerseys, y'all got the dope. Do y'all have the dopest jerseys in the WNBA?
Yeah, I'm gonna be super biased. I don't see anybody else touching us. Our colors are fire. Black and red.
Jerseys is hard. I definitely love them Aces jerseys.
Yeah, that's us. We got the finest jerseys ever. Like that's me. I'd be too happy to put on my red jersey. Woo!
How is it for you playing? Like how is it playing in Las Vegas? Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's obviously y'all getting the Raiders about to be out there. It's about to be sports literally in Vegas. How is it? Is it cracking?
Oh yeah, it is. It's cracking. From the start to finish, it is lit like always. And it'll be a
24
time in a
hours.
game.
They the
Yeah, like
entertainment capital of the world, so they gotta be bringing
everywhere. It's so nice. Like it'll be mid-game, and I look over and like Flavor Flav sitting there. I'm like, Flavor Flav, like we here.
Flavor
Boy,
Flav.
like I'm like Flavor Flav. Like it was just so dope. Cause you just never know who comes to the games, and like you already know our halftime performances be fire. Cause you know we on the strip, so it's like it's just a lot of fun. It really is. You can tell that Vegas really needed sports, and now that they have it, they're just so and like MGM's so invested into us. Like it is crazy. I've never seen anything like it. Like I remember when I first got drafted, me and my family, we're driving down the strip, and there's just this big marquee on the Aria. It's like "Welcome, Asia Wilson." And I'm like, yo, like this is incredible. Like this is fire. So like it's just a lot of fun.
Me and D Miles, we got to make it out there to a couple games or something. Go out there and go check it out, man.
When you got hurt, when you had the ankle injury, you was out for like 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. Was that the first time you can kind of like sit and kind of see everything, like stuff kind of slow down? Because you went from college, instantly playing in the season, then you go overseas, then you playing back in the season. With them 4 weeks, I know that's not long to kind of really look at it, like but with 10. Them 4 weeks, it was time. Was it time to kind of reflect and kind of sit back and like, all right, I can see stuff and slow down for a minute?
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a time where I'm like, all right, let me get my mindset. Let me mentally prepare with and at the same time, I was like, okay, let me mentally prepare myself for when I come back, but also how can I help my teammates? And that's the time that I was just so happy for De'Erica Hamby because she got put into a role that she wasn't really used to at the time because she was our sixth woman coming off the bench. But then she came into a role and people would say, oh, you got big shoes to fill. But she handled that role so great. Like it was the moment where I'm like, oh, I can come off the bench because like De'Erica, she handled her business. And like that's when I saw, not necessarily the team doesn't need me, but the team, like we're a well-oiled machine. Like we can put in somebody, we can switch it out. Anything can happen because we just had that chemistry. So it was the worst 4 to 5 weeks of my life because I'm like, okay, I want to play. And then they moved me from the crutches to the scooter. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm about to get out of the boot. Honestly. Yeah, I'm like, it's too much. Like I was just like, I just want to walk. And they're like, well, you can't at the moment.
Let me ask you this. What did you do on that scooter that you ain't supposed to be doing? Because you got that little scooter. It's like, then you mess around and hit a curve too hard, kind of leaned on the boot a little bit too hard. You like, did anybody see?
There's times where I would catch myself falling, and I'm not supposed to put pressure on my ankle, but I had to catch myself from falling. So I was like, oh, that just set me back a week. I'm like, dang it.
We not disciplined. We not disciplined. I remember one time I was
looking around
I was on crutches, but I was driving and stuff, so I didn't pose to put no weight on my leg. So, I'm driving and stuff. So one day I forgot, I guess I ain't closed my back door all the way. So I'm driving and stuff. So I just hop out the car like just to close my back door and I just fell because I ain't put no weight on my leg in about 2 months. And I was like, damn, I'm looking in the middle of the road, seeing if somebody see me mess my stuff up. I just remember stuff. When you be hurt and you're an athlete, you so anxious. It's like you can't sit still.
If it was for real hidden cameras, bro, like you know how everybody be on them little Segway 2-wheel joints. Boy, I ate it so bad in real life. In real life, forget a TikTok or a video, boy. I'm talking about in real life. Had my whole right side was bruised. It was crazy. I came here. I ain't never get on that thing again after that. I was outside. When I hit it, I couldn't even walk home straight, but I was limping. I'm carrying this little thing. I'm limping. I say, boy, I felt like Cedric Entertainer. I almost hurt my whole right side.
I know the edge. I was just thinking about that. I know they gave you a scooter. I know something reckless happened.
I was like, I gotta get out of this. I'm done. Get me out of here.
Tell me about your experience going over to China to play in 18 and 19. How was that for you?
It was a culture shock. It was very, very, very different because, when you go to like Europe or, like Spain somewhere, like you can say or do what you mean. Like if you say fish or chicken, like you can kind of mimic what you want.
Right.
But in China, it's like, oh, we don't know what that is. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like how am I supposed to communicate? And I had a translator and my dad was there with me as well. So he was kind of putting me at ease because it was just a huge culture shock for me because, it's just different. You're in a whole different place. No one understands you. You can't even think that they understand you. And at the time, it was like, okay, I'm here to play. Let's go. Let's ride. So the league, I mean, I'm not going to say that it was like our league was the best of the best, but it was definitely a league that it was like, okay, I can get a couple points here and there. Let's go ahead. Let's ride. So that's how it was. I was just like, I'm here to play. Let's just do it. Let's just go for it. But it was different for sure. It was definitely different.
Right.
So the food's looking back at you.
Yeah, I'm not rolling. I don't want nothing with eyes in my plate. No. Hey, so tell me what you thought, what you think, and how you felt when they came up with the new CBA that kind of, put you guys in a different situation where I don't know if everybody still has to go overseas or not, but I know that it's, things are on an uptick as far as like trying to get things more even for you guys and more fair. So how did what was your take on the CBA?
Oh, I think it was great. It was great the way that they handled it and everything that went down. And like you said, I think it was key to finding different ways to where it's fair and for everyone. And I think that's key to us. And I just remember Candace Parker when we would tell people, yeah, like we got that. They'll be like, oh, you ain't already got that. And it's like, no, we don't.
Right.
So for that to now be in it, and I'm like, wow, like that's when I was really seeing growth in the league. I mean, I saw growth my rookie year when numbers was going up. We were on Twitter, the Twitter games and things like that. But when our CBA came out and you really kind of saw, okay, I get a room to myself. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't be able to get a room to myself until I was like a fifth year. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Listen, that was crazy to us. Like when Candace told us that on the show, I was like, what?
Yes.
Adults have to share rooms? Like
I got kicked out of a meeting for
buying
buying my own room. I coached y'all to do that shit. I'm like, bro, I make $7 million. I'm not finna stay in a room with a motherfucker.
Right. So just have those little things like that. I was like, okay, we're on the upward hill right now. And I was happy to see just the growth and also just the talk around it. I think you saw a lot of people invest in our game because they're like, oh, wow, like we're making something shake. And I was just so happy to be a part of it and just still be in it, honestly, because it's 144 spots in our league. That's it. It ain't no G League. It ain't no nothing. It's like that, or you just not in the WNBA. So like, I'm just so happy to be one of those 144 that's in it.
Yeah, I seen a lot of girls getting waived and stuff like that. A lot of girls didn't make team. And that's sad to see,
Yeah.
You always hate, when guys who's coming to preseason, you always hate to be around a guy for 2 weeks. He'd be cool, and next thing you know, he waived or cut and gone.
I don't think I ever looked at it like how you just said, where it's only 144 spots, no G League, no nothing else. I had never thought about the WNBA like that. That's such a smaller number than what we have.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is crazy.
It's 12 teams, 12 spots. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Tough.
When you came up, who was the female that you was looking at that you was like, I want to be like her, or I patterned my game after her, or I took a couple of moves from this person or that person?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's like a mixture because I'm too young to actually watch Lisa Leslie play, but I just loved her style of play when I would watch it. Like I would just be like, okay, you would see clips of here and there where they're talking about her and things like that. But then I had an opportunity to meet her because I won her award my senior year. And just speaking with her and the way that she spoke to me, I was like, oh my God, like you're my role model. And I always knew you were my role model, but I'm like, yeah, you just seal the deal because she's such a lady. Like she's just who she is, the way that she carries herself off the court. Yeah, like I'm like, you the one, like it's it. And like that was a moment where I'm like, okay, Lisa Leslie, you got it. Like you're it. You're it. But then like growing up, I could watch Candace Parker play, of course. So like she was definitely someone that I'm like, okay, this girl's good. And I just want to follow her career out because she's going to go very, very far. So when I played against Candace, I was like, all right, you can't be acting like no starstruck. Like you got to lock it up.
Right.
It wasn't the best at times. I kind of slipped up here and there. But it was good to be out there. Like when they say your idols become your rivals, if that's legit, like it's really real.
It's definitely true. It's definitely true when you get to that league.
Yes.
How did your basketball juices start going by watching The Last Dance?
Yeah.
I know you ready to hoop.
Yes, for real. I was just like, man, I cannot wait to get in the gym. because it's just like it brought out that just like that just inner hooper in you, like you
That
just really it
dog,
just really
you
like it really came out. No matter
You
what you
can't
like
watch it.
watch, yeah, like you just like man, like I just need to hoop, like I don't care what anybody else doing, I just want to get out there. But then it was a great documentary. Like it was just always a Sunday, and I would just be like tuned in. Me and my boyfriend would make sure dinner's ready before because we don't need no noise. We'll put my
Set it
puppy up.
up.
We locked in, and it was just like you got, like you said, it gave people a glimpse of things that no one probably ever would have thought of, like just different ways Michael Jordan was, like who he was as a person. Like it just gave people different view because I mean I'm sure everybody knew the stories, people that he played with, people in the basketball world, but then it gave like regular people that view, like this is what athletes go through. We go through different things, but yet we still perform and entertain hundreds of fans. So like it's
Yeah.
just it was like a great feeling, like just to see that and be like, oh, and even relate things to yourself. Like, oh yeah, like that, I could see that. Okay, we can make that work. And also seeing Bill Lambier on there was hilarious. It was just fun seeing young Bill. Like I'm like, I ain't never seen Bill run before, but I saw him run on one
Bill was a dog.
Tell me how it is playing for the bad boy Bill Lambier, and then him having you two big twin towers. How is that?
Oh man, it's different. It really is different. Cause my rookie, I was like, all right, I don't know how this about to go. Like I don't really know this man like that. I just know how he plays. I don't know what's going on. But Bill is actually, he's a player's coach. Like he really wants what's best for you as a player. Like he doesn't care what it takes. If he gotta stare somebody down, he gonna do it for you. Like he is really on our side. And it's just great to have somebody like that behind your back, let alone what comes behind him, of course. But like he is just someone that's just like, if I didn't do well, if my head's down, he's like, hey, pick it up, like keep going. So he's constantly in my ear all the time. We always have conversations, side conversations and stuff like that. And he just really likes to pick your brain, but let alone you can pick his brain. Because I mean, coach's basketball IQ, it's so good. Like he just knows things all the way down to just numbers. He's constantly reading stuff. So like he's always in tune into the game. So that's someone that I'm like, okay, like this is good. And now I ain't trying to get no playing time out of him, but I'm like, okay, I need to pick your brain a little bit to see how you see the game. Minus the fighting.
Now he was somebody that I grew up a Bull. I'm from Chicago, Bulls fan all my life growing up, and I hated Bill Lambier. But like watching, as you get older and you understand different things. Like I totally respect him. Even right now with everything you saw, how whatever he's dirty in the left. I respect him. He still got his same stance. He's unapologetic about it. Hey, this is how I played. This is how it went. And I ain't and I love that 100%. He like, I ain't about to, like, what you want a statement? Like, I still feel the same. That's the statement. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I respect it. And it's like, playing in the league and being in the league, you learn to look at it different. And I totally respect the way he went about his business. And like you said, he's smart. He knows the game. He's still coaching the game. And nobody can take that away from him. You're a two-time champion.
Yeah.
The players and his players and his teammates always speak highly of him. So regardless of what they put out in the media,
Ty
or
Young
what they
did
show,
too. Ty Young,
I always see people just speak highly of him all the time. So that sometimes you looking at it on TV, it looked like something, but it really not.
Yeah, that dude is the same. Like people's like, oh, is he different? I'm like, no. When they ain't shake hands, he would not shake hands today. Like he does not switch up for nothing, nobody. Bill is Bill the whole time. It's so funny when people like ask him or like recognize him. Oh, you're Bill Lambier. He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, y'all need to back up. Y'all need to go somewhere. So yeah, that's him.
Tell me what inspired you to come up with your foundation and what got you to do that?
Yeah. In my junior year in high school, I got tested with a learning disability called dyslexia. And it's where you get numbers and letters, a lot of things mixed up, and a big chunk of work, you get it mixed up in your mind, and it makes it very difficult to understand and read. And it was a very, very low, hard point in my life because I'm like, okay, I'm an athlete. I'm coming up into the world, and now they're going to think that I can't read. So it was a point in my life where I was like, I don't know, like I don't like this. And my parents, they thought I was being a lazy teenager Because I'd be like, I study all night, and when I get this test, I don't understand it. So they thought I'm being lazy and wasn't studying, but then they got me tested, and it came back that I had dyslexia. So all the way through college, and I give Coach Staley pretty much half the credit on this. Coach Staley would make me read our daily devotions before games, because it's no cure, but that's how you can get comfortable with just reading aloud. And when I tell you I was so nervous, I was like, I am terrified, because I'm like, I don't want people to think I can't read. It'll be times where I would just memorize stuff so I just wouldn't have to read it. And so it was very, very hard for me to deal with the fact that I had a weakness. And then that's when I got with Players Tribune and I wrote my story about it. And that's when I saw a lot of people related to me. That was like, wow, like my son has dyslexia, my daughter, I have it. So it was like, and let people know that they weren't alone, but let alone the whole time it was letting me know that I wasn't alone in it.
Right.
And when I would tell my parents, I was like, as soon as I get out of college, I want to start a foundation that's surrounded with a learning disability. And that's when it all started. My mom was like, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to give resources to children to help them, because if I had a pen that would listen to my professor while I'm taking notes. So if I miss something, I can play it back on the pen and I would be able to hear my professor. And I'm like, if I didn't have these little things in my life to help me overcome this, who knows where I would be? I wouldn't be this comfortable with speaking about it, because it took me a long time to speak out about it. So I was just like, you know what, Mom, I want to form something to help children and their families with learning disabilities. And that's where the Asia Wilson Foundation came from. And it's hard to believe that we're maybe like 16 months old. Like it's still new, but we've raised so much money because I think people just really see what it can do. And I'm just so happy and grateful for everyone that's been around it. So yeah, that's how the foundation got started.
That is awesome, and we salute you for doing that.
Thank
like
you.
using your platform and sharing your story, because like you said, and sharing your story, you see how many people it helped, but also it helped you along the way, and you didn't even set out to do that. So that's awesome, and you're using your platform in a positive way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm definitely believing that. We did our articles with Players Tribune, and it was like it was definitely like stress relief. You know what I'm saying? It's like it released, and then just to hear the positive feedback you get from like the people who would be like, man, I relate to that, or I understand where you're coming from. That's definitely a dope experience.
Yeah.
Thank Players Tribune for even just putting that out, because I think that was dope, because I definitely was a firm believer. Go to the grave with it.
Right.
I ain't telling nobody.
and I think y'all, this generation of the athletes, both male and female, y'all represent a openness with yourselves and with things that y'all have going on that our generation would never.
Yeah.
We wasn't going, like, if we had like Kevin Love speaking out the way he did, with his mental health thing, like all of those different things, we didn't have a whole lot of that in our generation, and obviously the generations before that, because that was seen as like you weak. And I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm proud of this generation, and you got people like you stepping up, using your platform, letting little kids know that you're not crazy, you're not different. It's somebody that's a number one overall pick. They had these same issues, and I'm still successful, and I still achieve my dreams, and I'm still doing it now. So like, to have those examples of stars, it's not like somebody that's not a star. It's like, they can still dream that they could be you or whoever else that have those same things. So I salute you, Kevin Love, and everybody like y'all, and just going out there and putting their stories out there and sharing with everybody, because it's huge, it's needed.
Yeah, and it shows that we're human. I think we as athletes really get caught up in the whole, oh, you have all the accolades, you're this, you have the perfect life. But then once I kind of released that letter, I could just tell by the response that I was getting. They're like, oh my gosh, you're human. Like, you go through stuff. I'm like, hell yeah, I go through stuff. Like, I get through the day just like you get through the day. So yeah, I think it was good for everyone. And like you said, this generation, just to show people we're human. We feel the same things that you guys feel. Like, it's real.
Yeah, and they get to get a glimpse. They get a little glimpse into, because I remember when I put my letter out, I got a huge response from the New York area, because a big part of my struggle happened right when I got to New York. I lost my brother; he got killed in Chicago, and so them as fans, they got to watch me for 4 years play, but they didn't really know what me, the person, the human being, was dealing like. Like you said, they think, oh, you making $10 million a year, you got a perfect life, and it's like, no, bro. Like my brother, like my first year, my brother got killed when I first got here, and that sent my whole New York thing up, and like I wasn't right until you know what I'm saying. Like I ain't get situated till I got to Miami, and it's messed up. But like. Then once you put that out there, I started to see the response, and they was like, the fans, different people, different players coming up to you, talking to you like, dang, bro, I didn't know you was, going through this and that. And it's like you kind of, like you said, it's therapeutic, and you see that you are actually helping others, but you helped yourself along the way too.
Yep.
Who is your favorite 5, not your top 5, your favorite 5 women's players?
Ooh, favorite 5? I would have to say, Dawn Staley, of course, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Lauren Jackson.
Ooh, she
and
was
then,
a killer.
Yeah, and then I gotta go with Diana Taurasi. I think that is like
everybody loves
that DT.
That Rossi. You was selected to play for the Olympic teams this 2020. They ain't gonna have it, but your old coach was selected to be the coach. How was exciting? How was excited was you when you heard like to be selected and to be coached by your coach again?
It was actually crazy. Like when she found out, I was still in college. I can't remember. I think it was my junior year. And I remember when they told us that she had a press conference, I was like bawling in tears. I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Cause I'm just like, this woman looks like me. Like she is someone that has really like shattered the glass ceiling in this way. And I was just like overwhelmed with happiness, as I always am. Cause I'm a bucket of tears when it comes to just like good things happening to great people. So I was just like really, really excited to, see her in that light. And I remember when we would play, we would hate when she would go with Team USA because she'll come back and think that we some Olympians. And we like, hold up, slow your roll, girl. I know you was just with Sue and Diana, but you here with me. Like, I know you was your pals, but you got me. I'm sorry. So like, it was just like, dang, like we used to can't stand when she would go. But like then being in that atmosphere, like when we went to the World Cup, and like seeing her in that light, I'm like, oh, they grew up so fast because it was just like, she gets in her element and she's just a different person. And it's like a great feeling just to see her succeed in that way. So it was pretty cool.
Start bench cut.
Oh,
Dawn Staley, Lisa Leslie, Diana Taurasi.
Ooh.
That's like the whole GOAT edition. He hit you with the GOAT edition.
I'm gonna do this just to make Coach Staley mad. I'm cutting Coach Staley.
Oh, it's a hit out on you right now. Hold on. Well, you ain't gonna get all us in trouble. We all ain't gonna get our ass whooped for that one. Nah, you can't do that here.
She's gonna come for y'all. I'm cutting Coach Staley. I'm gonna start Lisa Leslie and I'm gonna bench DT. But she gonna come off the bench though, so it's all good.
Straight up.
Just to make Coach Staley mad. You're cut, Dawn.
That's crazy. So when you first got the money,
she only 2 years in.
So she got some money though. She the #1 overall pick, B. Like chill out,
right
B. Like she
right
talk that #1 overall pick talk. Like that's a little bit different, unusual.
New
big
CBA
fella.
and everything.
New CBA's coming.
I feel. Go ahead. I apologize.
Let me ask my money question.
I apologize for that.
Like I was fixing to say. When the money came, what did you do? Like, even though it was probably a little recent, we got to treat yourself. Pretty girls love pearls. Did you get yourself some pearls or something? Did you upgrade the pearl game? What happened? What did you do when you got yourself some change in your pocket?
What did I do? Oh, I bought, those new iPads, like the big iPads.
Okay.
I bought one of those, and then I bought a MacBook Pro Air. Like I bought 2 Apple products.
Tech splurge right quick. Look, couple tech splurge real quick. Look, give me something nice.
Usually you put them on layaway, you separate them. I can't get them all at once. I gotta put something on this one.
I'll be like, I'm gonna try it in 2 weeks. But yeah, I got those out. I got those too. So I was very happy with them.
Yeah, make it nice and neat.
Okay.
Yeah, That's why I love, everybody is to each his own. Everybody do something different. Some people might have got a grill, you know what I'm saying, some jewelry or something. You got the little,
And,
got some little essentials,
yeah.
upgrades right quick.
I bought my mama a Rolex and a car.
Okay.
Rolly.
See what I'm saying? Little level, little different, Rolly is
Rolly and a dab of Rich,
Nick Van Ness was telling I see now listen now, I'm gonna tell you the different levels in the Rollies because we talked to Nick Van Ness now. He said a Rolly and I was like, oh, okay. But then he said it costed $150. I said, ooh, that is a Rolly. I said, that is a Rolly. I said, I know the watch he bought his mama didn't cost no $150.
No, my that Rolly I got in that Lincoln LS didn't cost nowhere near 100.
All together, huh?
All together. I got my mama that 5,000 junk. You know what I'm saying? That 5,000 junk with the Lincoln LS.
Funny.
All right, that's been a wrap, man. This was too awesome. We appreciate you, the young legend. Asia Wilson come through pulling up on us. This is big time. She is staying at home in Las Vegas, live on location. Me and D Miles is staying our ass at home, live on location here in Orlando. But we got them 5G towers, so we staying connected. You feel me? We AT&T 5G. We appreciate you for coming through, young legend.
Thank you so much for having me.